Thank you all for coming. We are joined by free safety Calvin Tiggle and left guard Josh Klein. Coach Hazell starts off with an opening statement.
Well, we've had a few extra days to prepare. I think we've had some great preparation for this one. We're excited to get back onto the playing field and get some of those things we had some issues with the last time out, but I'm excited about where we are right now. And I think our guys have done a great job of their concentration level and their execution level in practice. And, you know, the big thing here in the next couple hours, we've got to figure out who the 66 player we're going to put on the bus. That's always hard. We went from 70 to now, with a MAC conference game, it's the travel roster is 66. And those decisions are very tough decisions, but they're very important decisions that you have to make. So as a staff, we sit down and we talk about that 66 player that we need to put on the bus that can make a difference.
It went from 70 to 66 players so far haven't made the list.
Well, we got, you know, it's all about position needs and who has a chance to help us win the football game. So we took some guys earlier that we tried to reward for the things that they've done throughout camp and throughout the first part of the season, but we'll find out who that 66 player is here shortly.
How was, you mentioned some injuries earlier. How are your couple guys didn't play the fourth quarter in Kentucky? How are those guys? I think Dree had a...
Yeah, Dree's fine. He's 100%. Trayon, we held out in the fourth quarter. No, we didn't hold him out, but he was, you know, limited in the fourth quarter of the last game. He's fine. He's had a great week of practice. He had a shoulder, a little bit of a shoulder. Dana Brown's back, so that's exciting to have him back. And we're feeling pretty good about Richard Gray with the quad. And then we'll find out about Tyshawn at game time, but he's going to be on the trip, and hopefully he can give us some plays. We'll play at the corner spot with Polk on one side, and we'll have Sid on the other side. And then Dylan will come in, and Sid will go to the nickel spot.
Cal, can you just talk about what's going to be like without Norman?
I think we'll be fine. Dylan showed he's very improved. He had a great practice this week, so I think he'll step up for Norman's spot.
How big is it for the defense in general to show up? I mean, do you look at what happened in Kentucky as a problem, as an aberration, in terms of all the yardage? You hadn't given up that kind of yardage for 4 or 5 years, regardless of who you played, Alabama, on back.
Well, I think it's big for their own confidence, one, but also because obviously Buffalo has a couple players that can hurt you. They got a good quarterback, a good wide out, and a good running back, and I think that we need to be able to make them a one-dimensional team and play with some confidence defensively early in the football game and get some 3 and outs. If we can do that, I feel really good about it.
But I mean, your defense, like I said, that's been your calling card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, do you look at Kentucky as an aberration, just something, or is there some issues there that you got to address?
Well, I don't know if there's issues. Everything was fixable. There were some missed tackles. There were some misfits. So all those things are fixable. And I thought they did a good job these last 7 days making sure all those things were fixed. And we'll find out early in the game where we are.
Josh, Buffalo's defense this season so far has 9 sacks. Can you guys just talk about what you got to do to protect Spencer?
Well, as an O-line, we just have to make the proper calls, the proper defensive scheme that they have out on the field. They run a 3-3-5, so it's basically we have to make a down call on a down lineman who we're going to deem the 3 technique and who the backside to the protection is going to be bobbed up. So, you know, it all comes down to talking as a group and staying as a unit, and I think we will do well blocking them.
Calvin, can you talk a little bit about the defense against Kentucky? What kind of happened there, especially in the second half when things just kind of seemed to snowball?
I think in the beginning we was playing really good, but we kind of gave up too many big plays, and then people wasn't playing with each other it's supposed of when we usually play, we all play together. So I think we kind of got worried and gave up too many big plays towards the end of the game.
I'm sorry, was it like it almost caught you off guard because you guys are used to being so good and so consistent that suddenly when it wasn't, you just weren't sure how to react as a group? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you guys talk about it all as it was happening? Did you have time to kind of pull each other's side and say anything, or did it just all happen so quick?
No, we had time to talk, but the game was going so fast. They had a hurry-up offense, so it kind of messed little things up.
I think one of the thoughts after the game was that other people would look at that film and say that's what you have to do to the defense. So, did you guys spend time this week in particular on that?
Yes, ma'am, we did. We did. We got everything fixed.
It's that easy, huh?
Well, we did some no huddle periods in practice, which, you know, you can never simulate the speed that it actually happens in the game, but that's something that you rehearse as much as you can to try to get those guys game prepped for those no huddle, fast tempo, quick strike plays, and so it's going to be big because I'm sure Buffalo saw the film and they're going to probably try to implement some of those things to keep us off balance.
Well, going in, you knew that's what they were going to do, so I'm sure that was part of practice heading in. So then what was the difference between practicing it before and then practicing after?
Prior to the Kentucky game?
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, there's really no way to simulate what actually happens on game day. You can do it as much as you want, but until you actually see the opposing team doing it, it's nothing like it.
How much were they doing that? I mean, obviously that's their style, but did they do it when all of a sudden you got a rotation in? Did they like, hey, once they get this package in, we're really going after them? You know, in other words, to keep somebody on or off the field, or whether.
No, I didn't feel that way. I felt like that was going to be their base. It wasn't going to be a response to their substituting guys, or we hit them with a big play. It was going to be their base package going in. Hey, we're going to keep them off guard because they had some success against Louisville, and that was probably the only time they had success against Louisville was when they were in the no huddle, fast tempo offense. So I'm pretty sure they said, hey, maybe this is what we have to do to be successful.
Calvin, can you guys go into the week 3? Brandon Oliver was second in the nation in rushing yards. It's a little 5'8" running back who hides behind the line. Can you just talk about how you guys are going to defend him?
We have a great D-line, so we have a cover 9 scheme, cover 4 scheme, you know, that we have been preparing to stop him. I mean, that's been the game plan. Obviously, that's their best player right now, so we have a good game plan going in to try to stop him.
Coach, can you just talk about prepping for him?
Oh, he's a good player. You know, the thing that makes him dynamic is he's quick. He's got enough top end speed. He's got great balance, and I think the big thing, you know, like Calvin alluded to, is our defensive line has to play extremely well and push the line back and not create those seams where he can get started. And if we can get the extra hat in the box, then that helps.
Where are you with your offense right now? Just finding that balance or rhythm you want. You came out in Kentucky and I think 5 of your first 7 plays are passed. And at least to us, we've always gotten the perception you really wanted to be a little bit more power. Are we misreading that, or, you know?
No, you're not misreading that. We want to run the football, and you know, it's something that I think the offense goes as we run the football. And we did come out and chuck it a little bit against Kentucky, but at the end of the day, I think our success lies in our front 5 guys, because I think that's where we're very strong, our offensive line, and we have 2 good tailbacks. And we'll put the game in those guys' hands, the up front guys' hands, as well as our tailbacks' hands, and that will enable us to do so many other different things. So at the end of the day, we want to be a running football team.
Are you one of those guys that scripts your first 10, 20, 30 plays, or do you go out and say, okay, we'll just wing it from, not wing it, but, you know, just kind of take it from there?
We script probably the first 25 plays, and we got off the script a little bit last week. The script is for first and second down primarily, but we did get off of it pretty early based on where we were on the field, and that happens from time to time.
Josh, can you guys just talk about what it's like for you and the line to be a run-first football team?
Well, what Coach was saying earlier, everything stems off the run, so we want to get the run game going. And as offensive linemen, we love to run block and we love to push guys around. So, you know, I think it's critical for every game we play this year just to establish the run, because pass plays, play action, and everything else runs off of that.
Give us a little bit of an overview of Buffalo, the good quarterback and good receiver too, and like you said, that there's a three-pronged approach offensively that can be tough to handle.
Yeah.
Can you talk about?
Well, the quarterback has shown to be very efficient with the ball. When he has his feet set, I think he's very accurate. He's made some very good throws in the first couple of weeks, and the receiver has come up with some big plays around people. So it's a concern. We're going to have to play the ball. When we're trying to cover him, we're going to play the ball and get the ball out of the air. And then, yeah, obviously, the running back keeps you off balance. But you know, we'll do our things on defense that we typically do, and I'm very confident that those guys will do extremely well.
Can the three of you just talk about how excited you guys are to begin back play?
I think we're really excited. We're ready to start off on a good note and hopefully get a win. We need to establish our dominance pretty quickly in the MAC in this game, so I think we're all excited.
Good.
Well, obviously, you know, this is why you play for MAC championships. And every game you have a chance to play in the MAC conference, you got to believe going in, you're playing for a MAC championship. And as crazy as this sounds, at the end of this game, a fourth of your season's gone. It goes so fast. So every game is critically important. And you know, this is going to be a good test for us, I think. It'll tell us a lot about our football team going up there on the road at night. I don't know what kind of crowd they're going to have, but it's on national TV, and we need to do well as a football program.
As a team, we're very excited for this MAC game, and I think this will show that we'll be a great contender for the MAC championship.
With the amount of time between Kentucky and Buffalo, do you think having all that time, how much has that helped you or hurt you guys in preparation for the next game?
Calvin, you want to answer that?
I think it helped us very well, a lot. Had great practices, had a lot of practices. We came out and competed against the offense, so I think it helped us a lot.
I think it also helped with just our injuries, getting guys back on the field and playing, and also if anyone has any bang or bruises, just get in the cold tub and get treatment. But also from a preparation standpoint, it helped a lot. We kind of slowed down practices this week, just focus on what we need to do to win the game.
3 weeks, actually maybe even going into the fourth week, actually into the season, 3 games. Are guys, you know, either young guys or some of these redshirt guys or veteran guys, anybody starting to float up for you in terms of, you know, pushing on the 2D, what have you?
Well, if you think offensively, the same guys we talked about a little bit last week is, you know, Julian Durden's a guy that continues to get better each week. He's going to be a good player for us. We know that and we're not unconfident to put him in the game right now. I mean, obviously he's still struggling with some pass protections, but he's pretty dynamic with the ball in his hands. Defensively, I think Dellinger is going to be a good player for us. I think Stalls is going to be a really good player for us. And, you know, a lot of things have to do with game experience. I mean, there's nothing like getting them out there and having them run around with the ball being live.
You brought in a bunch of tight ends, or any of those guys starting to float up?
Well, not yet. You know, they're getting better, but I don't think they're ready yet. And it might be mid-season before they are ready. We're giving them live reps and things like that in practice, but both of those guys we think are going to be very good players, but they're not ready yet to help us on game day.
What about wide up?
No, those guys aren't ready yet. I mean, I think with some of those veteran wideouts really starting to improve their game and understand what we're trying to do offensively, it's hard for those young players, James Brooks and Charles Chandler, to break the lineup right now. I think Chris Humphreys is getting better. I think Hurdle's playing pretty well right now. We need him to be productive on Wednesday night. Josh Boyle's doing a great job. And obviously having Dree in the slot is a great weapon for us.
Talk a little bit about Spencer's performance against Kentucky and what came out in terms of steps of improvement.
Yeah, when we met as a quarterback group yesterday, we have our normal quarterback meeting that was about a 45-minute long meeting talking about the things that we did the prior game and the things that we need to do better for this game. One of the things I said, obviously we're very happy that he's taking care of the ball, but I said that now we got to elevate our passing game, especially in the red zone. I thought that there was 2 or 3 passes in the red zone that we needed to complete, and he's got to pull the trigger on those. He's got to understand that the spacing down in the red zone is completely different than it is in the field. And there's not a lot of wide open guys in the red zone. And when a guy has a step or two on someone, you got to throw the ball. And you got to be accurate with the football down in the red zone because the field is so restricted. And if he can improve in that area, then I'll be very pleased with where he is as a quarterback.
Do you think that hesitancy on his part is because there was such an emphasis put on protecting the ball and not turning it over that it's made him a little gun-shy, if you will?
Oh, absolutely. There's a direct correlation between protecting the football. When a guy is real close to him, sometimes he won't pull the trigger, but he's got to be able to pull the trigger because those are touchdowns down there in the red zone. And instead of kicking a field goal, it's a 7-point difference. Freddie's fine. Obviously, he missed 2 last week, which were big field goals, and he knows it. He and I talked and talked about mechanics and talked about mindset and all those things. The long one, the 50-yarder, was obviously tough for anybody, and he felt like he should make that. But the other one that he missed, he felt like it was inexcusable, and he puts it all on himself. And he's just probably his own worst critic. But you got to make sure you're very delicate with kickers, and he's not a guy that lacks confidence, so he'll be ready to go.
Was there any thought that the second missed one was still things lingering from the first one?
I think they were completely different situations. One's a long 50-yarder, and it's not too much wind, but it's a little bit of wind off of grass, which he doesn't kick off of grass all the time. But the other one, we got to nail that one because it's a huge momentum swing, huge.
But there was no thought that it was any lingering
No.
injuries or anything from the task?
Oh, no, not at all. No, he just missed it. He just missed it.
Coach, can you just talk about the keys to defeat Buffalo on Wednesday?
Well, always when you go on the road, it's never going to change. The road formula is never going to change. You got to play relentless defense. You got to play mistake-free, opportunistic offense. And I think where we can have a big advantage based on film study is our special teams has got to be far superior. And if we play with great energy and great execution, then I like where we are.
What's the likelihood of seeing Keenan Stalls on the field with sharing time with Paul?
Sharing time with who?
Paul.
Oh, Polk. There's a good chance of Keenan's going to play. I mean, we're pretty thin at cornerback right now, so all those guys are going to play that are on the trip. Yeah, probably except for Derek Rohn. Is probably the only guy that's on the trip that he's not figured into the plans. Freshman corner.
Anything else? Thank you. So the